And welcome back to another episode. We're so glad to have you here today. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider clicking that subscribe button, because today we're going to be adding yet another breaking news day for Tesla, specifically for the Tesla Model Y. In fact, this is our third update in what seems like a week of constant news that is breaking. The Tesla Model Y has had a lot of news over the last week. Of course, we broke the news last week about the new price changes that hit the Tesla Model Y. We also broke the news about the Tesla rear-wheel drive option will be available coming soon, as well as the standard range model will not be available to order. So with that, let's get started. So just today, Tesla's website is now updated to reflect a leasing option, which is unbelievable. So last week, we saw a price reduction in the performance model of $1,000, and the long-range all-wheel drive, we saw a $3,000 reduction. With those price changes, the Tesla Model Y became more affordable than ever. And to further top that list of affordability, you can now lease the Tesla Model Y as of today. For those of you who have been sitting on the sidelines and just couldn't quite figure out how to make it work, let's talk about the leasing options, because I think you're going to find that leasing a Tesla Model Y may be a more affordable option for you. With those price reductions that recently occurred with the Tesla Model Y, the cost was reduced to under $50,000, and that was for the long-range all-wheel drive, which is a great value. Now, of course, the full self-driving option did go up $1,000 from $7,000 to $8,000. So if you had the performance model or the long-range all-wheel drive model on order already, they were willing to update the price, but you would also pay the updated full self-driving price if you had that as well. So for the performance model, you had the same price. For the long-range all-wheel drive, if you had full self-driving, you actually only saw a $2,000 reduction, which is still great news for you. And now today, to top it all off, here we are. We're seeing yet another affordable way to get into a Tesla Model Y. You can now lease the Tesla Model Y performance and the long-range all-wheel drive option. Now, the long-range all-wheel drive option will start leasing at $499 a month with a $4,500 down payment. The performance model will have a lease price of $679 a month with that same $4,500 down. Now, that is a 36-month lease with 10,000 miles a year allotted. So you'll have 30,000 miles over the life of the lease. And again, $499 a month for the long-range all-wheel drive and $679 a month for the performance model. Now, of course, with leasing, you can get more miles and it will increase your payment. So let's recap that. Over the last 3 weeks, we saw that Tesla has confirmed the long-range rear-wheel drive model will be coming, which we're speculating on price will be something like $46,000. They reduced the long-range all-wheel drive by $3,000. They reduced the performance model by $1,000. And now with today's news of a lease option for both the long-range all-wheel drive and the performance model, we would also anticipate there being a lease option for the long-range rear-wheel drive car as well. The long-range rear-wheel drive is still not yet available to order, so we don't know what that lease payment will look like or the final price. But over the last week, the cost to get into a Tesla Model Y has gone down substantially. And for those of you who aren't going to be driving a ton of miles, leasing may be a decent option for you. One of the benefits of having a lease is you're not locked into a car, so after 3 years, you're able to turn that car in and get a new model. And over 3 years in a Tesla, a lot happens, as you can tell. Just look at the Tesla Model 3 as an example. The price reduced significantly over a 3-year period. As a matter of fact, in the first year, many Tesla Model 3 owners saw substantial reduction in price after they took delivery. So that may buy you some time for the Tesla Model Y to continue to go down in price, potentially continue to increase range, as well as become a more final product the next 3 years. So perhaps leasing may be a decent option for some of you. Now for us, we plan on putting a lot of miles, which we already have, of course, so leasing isn't really an option for us because of the type of miles that we do. One of the other things to keep into consideration is with a Tesla Model Y or a Tesla of any kind, you do not qualify for a rebate from the federal government for an electric vehicle. That is because, of course, Tesla has surpassed the maximum number of deliveries before that phase out occurs. That ended over a year ago at this point, so there's no $7,500 tax credit that you'd be foregoing by doing a lease. So there's no loss there. However, some of your local rebates and incentives, like in California and Colorado as an example, they still have rebates available for the purchase of an electric vehicle, and Tesla does qualify in many of those situations. You'll want to do a complete review of what types of incentives are available and compare those costs over 3 years and make sure you're making the right financial decision. Yes, it may be a larger upfront investment to purchase the Tesla Model Y, but you may come out ahead given some of those rebates that are available in some states. Now in states like Indiana, we do not have any extra bonuses for buying an electric vehicle, and leasing may be a great option for you. So with all that said, I think it's fair to ask the question, is there a demand issue? And this question has been proposed by many of people who speculate Tesla makes a terrible car, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that that's really the problem here. We are in the midst of a pandemic, and every car manufacturer is feeling the squeeze as consumers start to cut back on spending. And one of those areas where they've cut back substantially, of course, is in automobiles. We've seen some of the best rebates and pricing programs available from the big OEMs that we've ever seen. Just recently, there were 0% for 84-month offers from many of the manufacturers, which is unbelievable. And this is, of course, reflective of the economic reality that we are in right now as we continue to chug along through the uncertain times that we're in right now. So with a number of people out of work, the economy, of course, is under immense pressure. And what Tesla is doing with pricing and what they are doing with additional options, including leasing, only makes sense because what they're doing is trying to help bolster demand into the future. So I don't think that it's an issue where people are not buying Teslas. I think it's an issue where people are not buying cars. Now, in some areas across the globe, Tesla has been seeing immense growth, including here in the United States, and we are about to hear the results of Q2. And I think a lot of people are excited because it appears Tesla may have made a profit this quarter, and if that is the case, that would be 5 straight quarters of profitability for Tesla. So again, with demand going down in automobiles across the board, all manufacturers are doing everything that they can to help bolster and push sales that have dried up because of the economic conditions. Tesla has actually seen a far less impact in reduced volume than the other manufacturers, which is clearly an indication that while demand is down, demand for electric cars, specifically Teslas, is still very strong. Now, is it as strong as it was a year ago? Absolutely not, and there's no denying that. But this may be a great opportunity if you are in the position to take delivery of an electric vehicle. Getting your Tesla Model Y right now could be such great news. I've been keeping an eye on the Facebook page of Tesla Model Y to watch as people are taking delivery. Very curious to see how things are progressing on the delivery side. And a couple of themes I've been seeing are pretty exciting. Number one, the cars that are being delivered now appear to have substantially less issues than at the time I took delivery. And just as a reminder, I was in that first batch of cars that were made before the shutdown at the factory. Now, by the time I took delivery, it was actually April. However, it was right before they shut down the factory. I'm in the first 3,000 cars made. So there were some issues of fit and finish, and we're still working on getting all of those corrected. But Tesla has been very good about addressing those issues. Now, the vehicles that I've been seeing delivered seem to have more consistent paint, less chips, less issues like that. The interior specifically appears to be much better. At the time I took delivery, there were countless examples where headliners were damaged, seats were damaged, a number of the fit and finish items were just damaged. I have not seen many examples of that lately. Also, a lot of the trim and the panel finish seems to be a lot better today than it was back when I took delivery, which is encouraging news. Now, during the shutdown, Tesla did state they were working to upgrade their production facility to make enhancements, and we don't know specifically what was done. However, it's not hard to speculate that they probably addressed a number of the issues on the production line that were delivering cars that had quality issues. So with that, the cars are still not perfect, but they are very good. So it may be a good time to start thinking about, is it time to take delivery? Some of you are on the sidelines, and I applaud you for having the patience, because you know yourself well enough to say, I do not want to spend this kind of money and have any issues. And although Tesla is not there yet, they are getting very close already with the Tesla Model Y. If you look at deliveries of the Tesla Model 3, which has been out for about 2 years now, almost 3 years, the cars that are being delivered there are in fantastic condition, almost flawless. So many of the Tesla Model 3 deliveries, you don't see the same types of issues. However, when they first launched the Model 3, these were the exact same issues. So it's interesting to see how Tesla over time continues to evolve and to fine-tune their assembly process. The second thing that I wanted to bring up that I have noticed is a lot of people have been stating how quickly they're receiving their orders. And again, I think this goes hand in hand with what we're seeing in these updates from Tesla. Many people are claiming to have just submitted an order and within a couple of weeks getting a VIN number assigned. Now on Tesla's website, it says 4 to 8 weeks for delivery. And people are getting their cars in just a couple of weeks. So it seems to be very random. I'm sure it's just a matter of whatever's available is just being matched somehow, and it's hard to tell exactly how. But there are many people who are submitting their order and taking delivery within just a couple of weeks. That said, there are still people that originally ordered in 2019 at some point that still have not taken delivery of their Tesla Model Y. So again, very hard to tell what the rhyme or reason is for which VINs get assigned, but it is very possible you could take delivery of your Tesla Model Y in just a couple of weeks if you were to order today, which is very cool. So again, more breaking news from Tesla about the Tesla Model Y. More great news for you as a consumer. You have more options today than you've ever had with this car, which is fantastic news. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video for this quick news update. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you as we continue to post content regularly. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.